Hello friends. So we're back with another video and this is chapter 5 and it's gender identity, and this is in the book Unnecessary Chaos. I completely forgot to add this in the video, so I'm inserting it right now. The chapter 5 is on gender identity, and you can find this reference in the video The Vision at timestamp 8 minutes and 19 seconds. So let's get started. All right, this chapter may come across as quite controversial to some, as if the first 4 chapters haven't been the least bit controversial at all, right? What I was shown in the vision is that gender identity will become obsolete. That's it. End of chapter. You thought I was serious, didn't you? Nah, I was just kidding. But you may be thinking to yourself, what exactly does that even mean? Or how can that even be possible? There may be several different questions running through your mind at this moment regarding that statement made on the previous page, and understandably so. As some of you already know, and as some are now learning, each human individual carries both masculine and feminine energies within them. Our true soul essence carries the perfect balance of the two energies within, and therefore without. As above, so below. As within, so without. Society has imposed an emphasis on declaring and enforcing the division of masculine and feminine energies through gender identity. It begins right at birth. Congratulations, it's a girl. Congratulations, it's a boy. What about congratulations, it's your first day as a highly advanced spiritual being wrapped in a blanket of human skin and consciousness? Welcome to Earth. That doesn't sound as cute and snuggly though, does it? I love babies. I love their scent, their chubby little cheeks, their smiles, and their first little giggles. But they are still highly advanced spiritual beings who, as the years go by, have been untaught everything they innately know to be true, and taught everything they innately know to be untrue, and then groomed to conform to societal standards. Why does this happen? You may be asking yourself. When gender identity is taught and enforced, it keeps us in the mentality of partiality. We begin to feel and believe that something is missing inside. We have this relentless shadow of emptiness somewhere within that we just can't place our finger on it, but we know it's there. We begin to diligently, consistently, and desperately search for, beg, wish, and are willing to do unspeakable acts at times to try to fill that void, that emptiness that is felt within. Some try to fill it with religion, some with addictions, and others try to fill it with codependent relationships. But the truth is, it cannot be filled by anything outside of yourself. It can only be filled from within. The wholeness that everyone wants to feel inside of them comes from the balancing of both the masculine and feminine energies within them. To deny any part of ourself is to deny the whole of our being. We embody both feminine and masculine energies within our true soul essence. Of course, we are born with a human body that has either male or female genitalia, but that is the body, not the soul. And because we are born with either male or female genitalia, we are treated differently. We are given privileges or have privileges taken away depending on the gender identity. There are long-standing prejudices that are associated with gender identity. And if you think that you personally don't participate in these prejudices, think again. Participation has been ingrained so deeply that it has become an unconscious, repetitious act, sort of like an autopilot. It's just something you are so used to accepting that you don't even think about it or question it. Still don't believe we are unconscious participants, and for some, very much conscious participants in this partiality and inequality? That's okay, you're not alone. But let's explore this further. Prior to the very recent past few years, the mass media has always portrayed commercials of only little girls playing with dolls and only little boys playing with trucks. Most mass media still portrays this image today, minus a few progressive companies that have begun to evolve. So the gender identity is instilled and enforced at a very young age. There are male sports teams that have female cheerleaders that cheer them on and encourage crowd participation, even at the early stage of grade school. How many female sports teams do you see that have male cheerleaders that cheer them on? I know, that sounds absurd, right? So absurd that it shouldn't even be a discussion at all. That's because you have been taught and programmed unconsciously to believe that it's an absurd thought. Males have been and are still taught to suppress their emotions and act manly, as if they are robotic and without a heart or feelings. Girls have been and are still taught that they are the submissive and weaker gender of the two. How about this for a fun fact? Females, are still not considered as an equal person to men in the Constitutional Bill of Rights. This is a quote from Google's AI system Gemini. While the U.S. Constitution and Bill of Rights guarantee equality under the law, they do not explicitly mention gender equality, leading to the ongoing debate about whether women are truly considered equal. The 14th Amendment, which guarantees equal protection under the law, refers to any person, but has historically been interpreted differently for men and women. The Equal Rights Amendment, the ERA, was proposed to address this ambiguity by explicitly stating that equality of rights should not be denied or abridged on account of sex. The ERA has been ratified by 38 states, but its final ratification and inclusion in the Constitution remain debated. That's today. That's as of today, in the year 2025. How's that for absurd? This is what gender identity does to humanity as individuals. It forces them into different sex, and that's not sex, that is secs. Different hierarchies, different mentalities, different positions, different expectations, and then demands them to get along as if they were considered to be equal. We could go on and on for pages about how the gender identity and inequality entraps and devises against the natural wholeness of males and females, and how it enforces division between them. But let's not. Let's talk about how the future of humanity will evolve regarding gender identity instead. I think you'll agree that is a much more interesting conversation. In order to understand the masculine and feminine energy within each individual, you must first understand the attributes of each energy and how they are exhibited in a human being and through the human life experience. Here is a list of masculine energy positive attributes: active, giving, logical, protection, expansive, focus, outward, assertive, thinking, decisiveness, strength, confidence, projective, stability, disciplined. This is a list of feminine energy positive attributes: receptive, intuitive, nurturing, creative, feeling, flow, surrender, inward, allowing, passive, sensitivity, ease, patience, empathy, understanding. I'm sure after reading or hearing those two columns, you can recognize where in your life you have displayed or do display some of these attributes, or maybe even most of them from both columns if your energy is well balanced. Now, each of these energies also have negative attributes that can arise in your life too, especially if you are living unconsciously. We can also use the terminology of wounded to describe these negative attributes. I believe it's only appropriate to list the negative wounded attributes of each energy as well, so that you may recognize where they may possibly be showing up in your life and in your experience with others. So this concludes this video, the first part of Chapter 5, and in the next video we'll begin with the negative attributes of the masculine and feminine energies. And I'm sending you lots of love, lots of light, and lots of activation energy.